All right, welcome back to another episode of Asset Coach and Tax Strategist. And if you're a subscriber, thanks so much for subscribing. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can get our updated video and content on every Thursday. If you like our content, give us a thumbs up. If you dislike our content, give us a thumbs up, add comments down below, and let us know what you're thinking and what your thoughts are. So, if you've been watching our content and our channel for a while, you've been experiencing kind of the philosophy, thought process of how we at Terraformer, or what an asset coach and tax strategist does, from a philosophy of planning and all that fun stuff. So we've been going through that. We went through my book, Economic Termites. We had like 3 or 4 different series we've been going through, but we're going to come back to our roots. And it's time to bash on California again. I've held off and I've held off. I wanted to just provide content to what we do, but just the more and more articles that come out about California, just I have to say something. And as a previous native of California, having left in late 2020 here in the great state of Texas now, I'm just sad by what continues to occur there in this state of California. Beautiful state, wonderful people, but darn it, that government just keeps making decisions that really wondering why are people moving out? Gee, I wonder why. And the people that continue to stay, that have the ability to leave, that continue to stay, really are going to reap the suffering of what's going to occur unless there is a mass transformation, which the people that would be there to help be responsible for this transformation, they're all leaving. They have been leaving, myself included. So, but without further ado, let's dive into an article that the California Globe is discussing. California Globe, obviously, it's a California website, and they talk about California. So I figured this would be a good resource to be able to kind of dive into what's occurring. And so, brace for impact. California gas prices to increase in 2025. Are you kidding me? But it makes sense. And why does it make sense? And I haven't read this article. It's clickbait, and I clicked on it, baby, and we are baited. We're hooked, line and sinker. And we're going to go through this article. But just before we dive into it, it makes sense that taxes on gas prices are going to go up. And here's the reason why. The state of California has been on this kick of electricity, go green. And I use air quotes purposely, because green is not green. It is actually more harmful for the the environment, to create green, if you will. But anyways, that's not what this content, this video is about. But it makes sense because there's less and less people driving gas-powered cars. And so more and more people are going to electric cars. Right or wrong, that's what's happening. And so the gas tax revenue that the state has been earning has been decreasing. It's close to $1 a gallon in taxation for the great people of California. And so it's going to continue to go up. Why? Because revenue's going down. And now they are talking about doing a use tax, and I think I did an episode on this previously, but doing a use tax on mileage, meaning that you pay a tax based on the miles you drive. I actually think that makes more sense than a gas tax, because then that taxes everybody that drives. If you want to truly be a green state, then have people not drive. Even electric cars, because again, to build those electric cars are not good for the environment either. So get everyone to public transportation. Then this income, this revenue could generate enough revenue to be able to do what? Build infrastructure for public transit. But again, this is California. So the more revenue they make, the more they'll spend in ridiculous areas. And so I can't say that that's a really good idea for the state of California, because they're not very fiscally responsible. So anyways, let's dive into this article. California drivers will have to earn an additional $600 to $1,000 a year in pre-tax income to break even with 2024 prices. Policies have consequences. Duh. Policies have consequences. A significant increase in the retail price of gasoline that Californians will pay at the pump is expected for 2025. The projected increase could drive California's retail gasoline prices to exceed the national average by as much as 62%. Holy cow. Not only is your state income tax greater than everybody, not great as in like, woohoo, this is awesome, but great as like way more than the rest of the states in the country. But now you're going to pay as much as 62% more than the national average, which California is part of the national average. The increase will contribute to inflation, duh, add to the exceptionally high cost of living in California, duh, where only 16% of residents can afford to buy a home. Wow, look at that. And has disproportionate and adverse impact on lower income Californians. Well, and here's the thing, forget buying a home. Rent costs have skyrocketed as well. So just to have a roof over your head is ridiculously expensive. It's crazy. But, anyways, let's continue. On November 8th, 2024, the California Air Resources Board, by the way, should be banned and diseliminated, but anyways, passed new special blend mandates for California's low carbon fuel standards. Now, granted, they're changing the blend of the gasoline requirement to make it quote unquote cleaner. So they're not completely banning it, right? But they do have a target of zero cars, gas cars. The CARB content that the new special blend is necessary to achieve carbon and methane emission reduction targets is consistent with Governor Newsom's 2035 mandate to eliminate the sale of internal combustion car sales and 2050 targets. Okay, so basically completely eliminating them all together. So that's just about 11 years, or going to be 10 years. Next year, it'll be 10 years. By its own admission, the CARB projected that the new special blend could increase the retail price of gasoline by 47 cents a gallon. Now, they say could. Come on. Come on. Come on. Could. Will. Hello. If it's more expensive to make the blend, then obviously that cost is going to be passed on to the end user. Anyways, however, in hearings, CARB staff noted that any estimate of cost from the LCVFS regulatory proposal are inherently uncertain because they involve conducting estimates and speculative projections that about what may have happened in the future. Well, duh. So I think this 47, because we are dealing with California, I think this 47 cents a gallon increase is actually underly conservative, meaning that it is so conservative it's ridiculous. I would estimate that it's going to be at least double this. Why? Because it's California. And they just said, hey, these are speculative projections. We're just estimating. Well, guess what? By the time they get this blend done, by the time all these other stupid rules that California passes, the cost to make this and blend this and receive this with current inflation and current costs, this 47 cents a gallon is probably going to go to 80 to 90 cents a gallon, if not over a dollar, right? And I'm not fear mongering. This is reality. Look at the speed train that they're building, right? I've done episodes on the speed train just for a certain mile distance. The budgeted numbers have skyrocketed above the budgets, right? So California is not very good at estimates and projectives. They are very good at speculative. They're really good at theory. But the practicality and reality for you as a California citizen is left holding the bag, plain and simple. I'm here in Texas, and our gas prices are under $3 a gallon. $3 a gallon, under $3 a gallon. We were as high as 350 to 4 in that peak when California gas prices were close to what this picture here in the article was. Okay, but think about that. Less than $3 a gallon right now. Okay, it's crazy. Anyways, A study by the University of Pennsylvania Center of Energy Policy contradicts the estimates by estimating the retail prices could increase by 65 cents a gallon. So even a third party is saying 65 cents, which is about almost 20 cents. It's 18 cents more than the guess. 85 cents a gallon in 2020, 30, and $1.50 in 2035. And I actually, my projection, it's going to be 85 cents. That's what I had said, right? Without even reading this article. How crazy is that? So, because that's the reality of what California does. They underestimate pretty close to half every single freaking time they do any estimating. It's just ridiculous. And so there's a pattern here, folks, and that pattern does not change unless people force the change. And that's the reality. And I'm not going to read through this entire article because the reality is that this is absolutely asinine and ridiculous. And we'll have the link in the down below in the notes. You're welcome to take a look at it and review it on your own. But the reality is that this is just plain thievery. That's what this is. This is thievery. This is creating these mandates that are completely unnecessary just to benefit the cronies of the administration and the people running that state of California. It's very obvious. Look at every major city that has a Democrat leader across the country, including red states like Texas. Every major city has a Democrat running that city, and every single one of them are over budget. There's crime that's ridden, their inflation, their cost of living in those cities are more expensive. There is a pattern, folks. We're not just talking about California. We're just talking about a strict philosophical leadership and just this craziness that's going on. Now, I'm not saying everyone needs to be on the far right either. There is a happy medium right in the middle to create this opportunity for coexistence. What I don't even know what that word is. I just made that up, but you know what I'm saying, even though I'm making words up, right? Because this is what we're all thinking. Okay. So why are we doing this extreme craziness? Why are we only looking at certain type of information and not all information, right? If you're truly seeking truth, you will find the truth. But if you're not seeking truth, you will always go down the pathway of justifying your own thought process and philosophy and ego, pride, and greed. And that is unfortunately what's happening. So say I'm wrong, that's perfectly okay. That's perfectly okay. That's the beauty of this great nation we're in. You're welcome to disagree with me. But the reality is, look at the patterns. Look at the results. Look at the actual issues and situations that are going on. They're not benefiting. They're not being beneficial. After COVID, the state of California bragged about how they had a surplus, $50 billion surplus of tax revenue. By the way, why in the world would you brag about that when your citizens are barely hanging on by a thread, losing jobs and all this kind of stuff? But anyways, good for you. Brag all day long, knuckle bump. You're awesome. Until the next year, now they were about 40 billion in deficit. 100 billion. Where the hell's that money gone to? Right? But anyways, I'm the crazy one, right? And so the reality is that's that. So hey, thanks so much for joining us and spending this time with us. If you like our content, give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. We drop episodes every Thursday. And we have a couple other articles on California that will continue this California series. Maybe we'll just call it the Bash California series, and we'll just do 5 or 6, maybe 10. I don't know, maybe the rest of 2025, we'll do an article every week, 52 episodes on just bashing California. That would be awesome. But anyways, I don't think that's very positive and productive. The reason why we're going through this is because of information that people just need to know. Taxes are a cost. They're an economic termite, no matter where it's at. And so if you're trying to build wealth, if you're trying to grow your assets, you need to look at these costs and these expenses and these silent and taxations like inflation and these rules that are being put in place that go in effect 2, 3 years after they've been passed as law. And then all of a sudden you get blindsided. So this is a huge issue. So thanks again. Appreciate you being here. Have a blessed day. Bye bye.